I'm trying not to show myself. Oh my god, look at all the fingerprints. No. 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 God damn it. This is what we're building today. This is the Freya. This is the box that it comes in. It's like you open it like this, then there's the case. On the side is actually a compartment, a drawer right here, and then you can slide this out. And this is actually where all your extra parts are. This is like the PCB. Here's the plate, pour on dampeners. They give you the stabilizers. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but there is a gold and white theme that's occurring here on all the packaging. So in here we have the batteries, we have a cable. So there's 3 different kinds. So the Freya will start from $329 to $379.99, so $380. There's a Freya Ultra, which starts from $399.99, so $400 to $450. And then you have the collaboration editions, which are the very super special ones, and those go for $480 to $490. This is what the back looks like. So it's a mirror back. There's going to be different colors:
pine, ice blue, e-white, black, burgundy, champagne gold, e-cream, deep purple, aquamarine, and gunmetal gray.
This is the pink colorway. So this is a 68% layout, but as you can see, there is a knob. This is interesting, right? Because this is circular, but it's a touchscreen knob. And then here you have a left-hand slider, and then here you can swap this badge. And then if you look at the side, it looks like a wing. So we've seen this interchangeable badge before, right? But I don't think I've ever seen a touchscreen knob before. And this is a slider. So we've seen a slider, but I haven't seen it as a separate component before. The app to change it and the firmware are being upgraded. They didn't tell me exactly to what. You do have to use their native app to change it. So 68%, you do have a separate arrows. This is for the slider, your touchscreen knob, your badge. The edges are silver. I saw this with the Zoom 98 and I really liked it because it almost looks like shiny, but essentially it's like the edge of the keyboard. It's different for each color. So the side is really neat. So you see the top of the case right here, and then here there is a wing design. It does have a shiny finish on the back. That's why there's the film. Try not to touch it. But it does have this badge. It looks like these feet are non-adhesive. They hit the screws with the feet. A neat way to implement that. Really interesting, because right here, there's a huge curve. There is the slight curve with the feathers, but everything else is pretty sharp for the most part. So apparently this is supposed to represent spread wings, and it lines up with the wings right here. So essentially this is the wings fully spread from both sides to the USB port. It's a very thematic design. Apparently there's a story behind it. In mythology, Freya is associated with various elements: beauty, love, war, fertility, wealth, and magic. These elements serve as her symbols. This multifaceted goddess happens to embody what people in today's society pursue: power, wealth, beauty, and skills. However, she sacrificed everything for the sake of peace, willingly becoming a hostage and agreeing with her enemies to cease fighting. Freya's precious qualities are the reason we chose her as the core inspiration. In designing her image, we drew upon the characteristics of various female figures from different systems, blending their traits to create a unique, gentle, and resilient representation of Freya. Going back to what I was saying, so you remember how I said there was a Freya Ultra and then just a regular Freya? So Freya Ultra, there's interchangeable module on the left, but then the Freya does not have the interchangeable module. So this knob is modular. If you decide you don't want it, you can have like the 4 keys instead. So with the Ultra, you can either have a slider or you can have a 5 key macro column right here. It uses a non-load bearing gasket structure. So similar to automotive suspension systems, you have springs that absorb the typing pressure, but then you have silicone gaskets provide an anti-friction effect. I don't know if you can see all the springs. Then you also have silicone gaskets that you'll find on the plate. They're using a split plate design. You could do something like alu outer and a FR4 inner, because there's 5 different plates. There's also brass outer, PC inner. There's aluminum outer, inner, PC, carbon fiber outer, FR4 inner, PC outer, FR4 inner. Basically, the split plate, you can have one material on the outside and then a different material on the inside. So if you're someone, for example, who likes to have your mods be a little softer, you could go with like a PC outer, but if you like stiffer alphas, then you could go alu inner, which I have not seen before. There's a handful of PCBs. So tri-mode flux cut, tri-mode non-flux cut, you have wired non-flux cut. So here you can see the split plate. It has an alu outer, but the inner is PC. And then you do have screws to secure it in place. But imagine like a half plate with the alphas cut out, and then you just pick a different material instead. 5 on the bottom, 5 on top. But these are where the silicone gaskets go. And you see this area doesn't have anything, assuming you go for the screen. So the PCB I have is flux cut. You have lots of different choices in terms of layouts. It's interesting because you can either do a 6.25 or you can do split spacebar. You can split the left shift. You can split the right shift. There is ISO support, and you can split the backspace. No 7U, there's 6.25 and split spacebar. So it looks like tri-mode flux cut is 1.2, tri-mode non-flux cut is 1.6, and wire non-flux cut is 1.6. As you can see though, it does have per key. And then looking at the rest, stabilizers. Here is the 4 key cluster in case you decide that, oh, I don't want this knob. So it uses a ribbon cable. It comes with plate and then it comes with like the separate PCB. So that is included. So here I have a choice of either going with a slider. So there's a knob. So for the Ultra, you can pick if you want either the slider or the macro column. So this is the macro column. Separate plate, separate PCB, another ribbon connector. Here you have the Paran dampeners. I like how it's like a folder style. So here's a Paran dampener, here's a plate foam, PCB foam, and switch foam. Potato sent me a shirt. I'm actually wearing it right now. It says Nap Club official member, which is funny because I took a nap right before this. I went up to Connor, I was like, the EP is getting me. The EP. I'm so sad because I knew that someone was about to post Bongo's for sale, but I didn't know when, so I was like, I'm gonna take a nap. Hopefully they don't post it. And they posted it, and I missed Yumi. I missed a Yumi Bongo, which is like omega rare, and I'm so sad. The EP has betrayed me. let's talk about the board because there's a lot going on in this board. So this is the Freya. This uses spring gasket mount. So when I say dual mount, it's not that you can go either or, it's those two combined. It uses springs to absorb any vibrations from typing, but then it uses silicone gaskets to avoid any friction. And the other interesting thing is that it uses split plates. But here is the Freya badge. So this is a very shiny back weight. So it does use daughterboard JST. Typing angle is 6.5. So this is what the bottom case looks like. You have the spring structures right here. So you have the 4 on top, and then you have the 5 on the bottom. Here you can see these are the 2 anchor points for the plate to keep it in place. You see how there's a hole right here, there's a hole right here. The module, depending on the one you use, you secure it into the case. So this one, the slider module, uses the 4 screws. This back plate is where you would then put like the battery if you want to use it. And then here the module is also secured on, but you can change this to either 4 key, or you can also change this to the 5 key. So if you don't want any of the sliders, you can change it out. Here you can remove the knob piece, and here you can remove the slider piece. These 2 screws are for the magnetic badge. Here are the silicone gaskets, so you'll have 5 up top, 5 on the bottom. And these are easy, you just like push them in like this. Oop. In terms of board designs, the unique things are the slider, you have the knob, you have the spring and silicone gasket mounting, and then you have the split plates. I didn't talk about like what's going to be changing, but in terms of what's going to be different from Proto versus the production unit, so they're going to be adjusting the size of the alignment pins to optimize the wobbly problem of the inner module. They're going to be changing the battery chambers to make the overall cushion feel more stable. They're going to improve the connection method of the inner module utilizing pogo pin structure. They're going to use magnetic sockets to connect the PCB and daughterboard instead of using traditional wiring. So it looks like they have taken into account like the ribbon cables, and they're going to be changing it. So God bless for those who hate these. It's definitely a very interesting board. It's very unique. I don't really know anything like it. It's definitely more fine-tuned, especially if you know what you like. So for example, if you're the type of person, you're like, oh, I love my mods to be like really soft, but then I love stiff alphas. This is something that, you know, you can actually customize that for, right? That is like pretty interesting. Yeah, that's the board. Thank you, Mellatrix, for sending this out to me and letting me review it. That's all I have for you all.